and saved, and let's see if everybody's okay.
Everyone loves the NBA. The league has exciting games, superstar players, the sport is easy to understand, and start watching right away. The league's built a massive fan base around the world, and because of that, the league has had some funny fan moments. So today, we're going to take a look at some of the funniest fan moments in NBA history. But first, a simple reminder on how to enter our brand new giveaway. We will be giving away either an iPhone X Max, the new iPad mini, or a MacBook Pro. It's all your choice. So be sure to leave a like, comment the keyword, subscribe, and turn on notifications to enter the giveaway. It's really that simple. First off, let's start with something that many teams have had at some point: booing in the draft. The NBA draft is one of the most anticipated events of the off-season, and for good reason. It's the time of the year when each team gets a chance at new hope, and the fans get to see which new players their team is bringing in. Having a high first-round draft pick decision by booing. New York and Philadelphia teams have a bit of a reputation as having brutal fan bases, and that's no exception in the NBA. Also, booing the commissioner is an NBA draft tradition. Don't feel too bad about it. Adam Silver is used to it by now, after inheriting the tradition from his predecessor David Stern. However, if you're going to be at the draft and you're thinking of booing your favorite team's first-round pick, you should be careful. Not every unconventional pick is a bust, and many players who have been booed go on to have successful careers down the line. A bit awkward for the people that doubted them early on, isn't it? Next on the list, something you've probably seen if you've been to an NBA game: dancing. If you've ever been to an NBA game, you know that the attraction isn't just the game, but the experience. You can get up closer than the TV screen can bring you. There's food and popcorn, and you're around plenty of other fans reacting to the action as it happens. There's also entertainment during the breaks and play. Since fans in the stands don't get commercials like the ones watching on TV, many teams play music when the game is stopped, and sometimes the best dancer gets featured on the Jumbotron screen. As you might imagine, this leads to some funny attempts at getting noticed by the Jumbotron cameraman. Whether it's the trendy dance of the month or just a creative freestyle, it's surprisingly easy to find a variety of dances in the stands of an NBA game. Also, don't forget singing. NBA teams usually have a few classic songs on their playlist, and when everyone knows the lyrics, it can sometimes result in spontaneous singing. Next is diving into the stands. Like most sports, basketball is intense. Players run around at high speed, and even if basketball isn't officially a contact sport, there's plenty of bumping and shoving anyway. When the ball gets knocked away, players dive for it to avoid giving up the possession, and much of the time this brings them right into the courtside seats. That's created its fair share of funny moments over the years. The reactions from the fans vary from person to person. Sometimes the person was paying attention and isn't surprised. Other times, not so much. There's just something funny about a large basketball player surprising an unsuspecting fan by landing in the stands, and it happens often enough in the NBA. When there's objects in the way, the moment becomes funnier. Courtside can be a crowded place, and we've seen everything from Brandon Knight taking out a Gatorade cooler while nearly running into fans to chase a loose ball, to Glenn Davis knocking over some fans and taking multiple seats out at the same time. The baseline is also a dangerous place for cameramen. The cameras are only a couple feet from the action sometimes, and the list of moments when these people have had run-ins with players goes on and on. Next up, an expensive addition to this list: custom jerseys. Many basketball fans show their support for their favorite team by wearing replica jerseys, and some fans go more all out with this than others. Look around enough at a game, and it won't be long before you see someone with a jersey that doesn't have the name of one of the team's players on the back of it. Sometimes, the name on the back is a popular nickname for a player. Sometimes it's just some kind of joke or pun. Some superfans that have been around the games long enough to pick up their own reputation might have their own nickname on a jersey. It's not always just one person either. Having two people provides some interesting opportunities to have two jerseys reference each other. If you want to try this yourself though, it's going to cost you. NBA jerseys don't run cheap, but a nice one with a custom name is a good way to stand out at a game or in the streets, especially if you come up with a funny enough name to put on the back. This one you should avoid trying at home. Fans are plenty close to the action in the NBA. The courtside seats are extremely close to the game, and the fans that sit there are usually at risk of getting hit with flying balls or with players falling on them if they aren't on their guard. For some people, though, the stands just aren't close enough. Fans running into the field of play is something that happens in every sport now and then, and the NBA is no exception. Of course, the league doesn't take kindly to this, and it's a good way to end up banned from going to games for life. But that doesn't stop the few fans that try it. Maybe it's for the fame of getting on TV, or maybe they just really want to see their favorite player a bit more up close and personal. Regardless of the reasoning, fans running onto the court have been able to produce some funny moments over the years, especially if those fans end up getting chased by a dozen security officers while they make their mad run for the court. Next, the times when fans make their voice heard. Rowdy crowds and an intense atmosphere are usually considered staples of college basketball, but the NBA also has its share of these kinds of moments. Sometimes the crowd just really wants to make its voice heard. It can be directed at a specific player or at a team as a whole. The home team is beating the away team by a sound margin, and as the game enters its closing stages, the home crowd begins to belt out the "Hey, hey, hey, goodbye" chant. No one wants to be on the away team's end of it, but the home crowd might get some laughs at the away team's expense. Alternatively, the chants might come at the free throw line. It's the job of the home team's fans to disrupt the opponent during free throws, and one way fans might do this is with specific chants aimed at a player. Of course, they also might make their voice heard after the referee makes a controversial decision that goes against the home team, but you can't really blame them. We've all had a time when we've wanted to give the referee a word or two about the latest calls. Next is the time when one fan decided to be the referee. We've all disagreed with the referee's calls from time to time, but most people would agree that they can't do a better job than the professionals at calling a game. It's a demanding job. The fans are quick to heckle and boo, and players themselves are fast to complain if they feel the referee is slighting them. A lot more goes into it than just blowing a whistle. However, that didn't stop one fan from trying to take over the referee's job of blowing the whistle to stop play. In a rather routine game between Golden State and Utah, things quickly became more confusing when the sound of the whistle stopped the players from continuing. Except the whistle didn't come from any of the referees. No, this whistle was somewhere in the stands, and it left everyone from the players on the court to the fans watching the game from the bleachers confused for the moments before everyone realized what happened. It doesn't seem like the kind of incident that would happen twice, but believe it or not, the same fan managed to blow the whistle again during the same game. Interfering with the game carries a big penalty with it though, and the PA announcer gave a pretty stern warning to the person who brought the whistle in. Most likely, that fan won't be attending any more Jazz games for a while after their daring stunt. What do you think? Was the 5 minutes of fame worth the potential ban? Lastly, fans talking to players. The courtside seats at an NBA game aren't very far from the action. The fans can hear what's happening on the court in detail, including the trash talking between players sometimes. But this also goes vice versa as well. If fans are talking trash and sitting courtside, there's a good chance the players will hear it. Sometimes, this causes some funny moments when the fans in question get caught in the act. It might just end up drawing a look from the player that's being talked about. Other times, though, players have clapped back at the trash talk with some talk of their own. Though talk isn't always the only thing needed to shut a fan up. Just ask the lady that was sitting courtside when the Warriors were playing the Cavaliers. LeBron just happened to pick up her crybaby gesture, and the look was enough to get her to look away ASAP. What would you do in that spot? Try to act like you never did anything, or proudly claim your trash talking as your own? It's pretty crazy to see what these NBA players go through from some fans. The fans get so hurt and frustrated at the strangest things, and if they aren't happy, they obviously make it known. Sometimes these fans need to take a step back and realize it's not all as easy as it seems. Anyway, that wraps up the video. Thanks for watching. It's a simple reminder on how to enter our brand new giveaway. We will be giving away either an iPhone X Max, the new iPad mini, or a MacBook Pro. It's all your choice. So be sure to leave a like, comment the keyword, subscribe, and turn on notifications to enter the giveaway. It's really that simple.